Good evening, Professor Claire. My name's Andrew Moser, and tonight I will be presenting to my younger brother Jared. Jared currently excels in travel baseball and AAU basketball and is in 8th grade. I believe that 8th grade is exactly the sweet spot that needs to be reached most with this information. It's just at that crucial point where a kid's decisions begin affecting his or her NCAA future. Playing Division I athletics is the dream for Jared, so the topic of my presentation to Jared tonight is achieving and maintaining eligibility to participate in NCAA Division I intercollegiate athletics. The majority of this rules information will be gleaned from Bylaw 14, which governs eligibility, with some bits of Bylaw 13's rules on unofficial visits and Bylaw 12's rules on amateurism sprinkled in. I decided on this topic because I think it is vitally important for our young student athletes to be educated on the NCAA standards as they proceed toward potential playing careers in college. I think junior high and high school athletes typically receive woefully insufficient information today, and I want to do my part as an older brother to make sure Jared does not suffer this impairment. I decided to begin my research by seeking the opinion of experts with knowledge far greater than my own. I wanted to discuss with compliance officials who work at the very highest level of collegiate athletics, and I had a natural connection with my alma mater, so I contacted several compliance officials at the University of Notre Dame, and Heidi Ubelor, Notre Dame's Director of Compliance, was kind enough to answer my questions. I wanted to find out what a Division I compliance official would have to tell prospective student athletes if they were asked. So the question I posed to Heidi were, as a compliance officer, what do you tell, or what would you most like to tell students who are prospective NCAA student athletes? What advice would you give to them for now and for the days moving forward? Heidi's answer was extremely interesting to me. She said, students hoping to play D1 must be aware of the NCAA list of core courses early on in order to follow the correct academic track all 4 years. They also must understand the concept of amateurism as they compete in non-collegiate amateur competitions before and after enrolling in an NCAA member institution. I fear that it is not commonly known in individual sports that financial assistance in excess of actual and necessary expenses can cost them their collegiate career. The best advice I can give is to register early in the eligibility center and to find resources as they attempt to understand complex NCAA rules, for example, regarding the above, plus initial contact rules. Her answer outlined the most significant reasons I think it is extremely important to reach these potential student athletes early on. Because academic requirements start right from freshman year, because financial assistance is prohibited at any point during an amateur career, and because they need to understand the regulations that exist as far as recruiting contact go. Failure to inform them, then seeing them make a mistake that compromises their NCAA eligibility, would truly be a shame, and I don't want that to happen. So, Jared, there are initial academic eligibility standards that all student athletes must meet to be able to play NCAA Division I sports. These standards will be enacted in 2015 before you'll be enrolling at college, so these are the standards that will apply to you. There are 4 parts. To become a full qualifier, you must complete all 4 academic parts. The first part is complete 16 core courses in the following areas: 4 years of English, 3 years of math at Algebra 1 level or higher, 2 years of natural or physical science, and 1 lab if it's offered at any high school you've attended, 1 year of additional English, math, or natural or physical science, 2 years social science, and 4 years additional from areas above, or foreign languages, philosophy, or comparative religion. You must complete 10 of them by your 7th semester of high school, and you must complete 7 of the 10 in English, math, or science. The second part is that you must maintain a minimum required GPA of 2.3 in these 16 core courses. The third part is satisfying the sliding scale. Your standardized test scores will be placed on a sliding scale to be compared with your core GPA, and you must maintain a certain standard on this sliding scale. For example, if you have a 2.5 core course GPA, you must score 1,000 on your combined SAT math and verbal, or an 85 summed ACT score. Or if you score an 820 on your SAT Math and Verbal, or a 68 on your summed ACT score, you must have a core course GPA of 2.95 to be a full qualifier. Finally, the fourth part is that you must graduate high school. The key for you is to make sure you're taking the necessary courses right away and doing well in them right from the beginning. Otherwise, you may dig yourself a hole that's too deep to overcome, and you may find it impossible for you to become a full qualifier as a freshman in college. The next component of eligibility is that you must receive your amateurism certification through the NCAA Eligibility Center. The NCAA recommends that you enroll with the Eligibility Center by your junior year of high school. As part of this process, you will be asked to answer several questions regarding your sports participation history. According to the NCAA, this is to capture a better picture of your amateur status and to identify any potential issues that might conflict with NCAA rules. If the answers indicate a possible violation, the amateur certification staff will work with the school to determine the facts. If the agreed upon facts indicate a violation occurred, an eligibility penalty will be imposed based on the severity of the violations. Penalties include repayment of money, sitting out a specified number of games, or, in rare cases, permanent ineligibility. Most college-bound student athletes who complete the amateurism certification process are certified. According to the NCAA, less than 1% of student athletes seeking amateur certification receive any sort of amateurism-related penalty. Every year, approximately 180,000 college-bound student athletes register to have their academic credentials and amateurism status certified. Over 90% of those who register are automatically certified. About 7% every year do not meet the academic standards of the division in which they want to compete, and about 600 college-bound student athletes are not certified because of amateurism issues. I'm here to make sure you don't fall into either of those categories, and that's why I'm giving you this information. As a college-bound student athlete, you may participate in amateur sports clubs like your AAU basketball team, as long as you do not receive expenses in excess of travel, lodging, or equipment for practice or competition. A prospect may accept prize money based on performance in an open competition as long as the prize is awarded by the sponsor of the event and the amount of the prize does not exceed the student athlete's expenses to compete in the event. College or university representatives may not help with fundraising efforts for a student athlete's amateur club team. There are numerous examples of student athletes who have not held to these standards and have been punished as a result. One example is Shabazz Muhammad, the National High School Player of the Year in 2012 and the top recruit in UCLA's top-ranked recruiting class that year. Muhammad was found to have accepted travel and lodging expenses during 3 unofficial visits to 2 NCAA member schools. Accepting such benefits is a violation of NCAA Bylaw 13.5.3, which governs unofficial visits, and as a result, he was forced to miss 3 games, 10% of the regular season, and pay back the approximately $1,600 in impermissible benefits he received. Talented Kansas guard Ben McLemore was ruled a partial qualifier by the NCAA in 2011 because of his academic shortcomings, and he missed the 2011-2012 season as a result. The Ohio State Buckeyes lost highly regarded basketball recruit LaQuinton Ross as well, after it was determined that 2 D's on his report card had been changed to C's in high school. He sat out the 2011-2012 season too. In 2012, incoming Wisconsin hockey recruit Nick Kurtelis was suspended for the 2012-2013 season based on tweets showing him with agent Ian Pulver of Pulver Sports. Tweets which were construed to indicate that he was being used to promote an energy drink, which violates NCAA rules. His amateur status was compromised as a result. These are the kinds of problems that you should avoid at all costs. Seek help and advice from those you trust and who care about you. Focus on achieving the necessary academic goals, and if you're ever unsure if something is permissible, err on the side of caution. Ask someone who will know. It is way better to be too cautious than too careless, and have some or all of your NCAA eligibility gone right out from under your nose. You have a very bright future ahead of you, and I'm proud of you. Now I'm urging you to take the necessary steps to make sure your future stays every bit as bright as it is today. And of course, you can always come to me with any questions you may have. Do you think you have a better understanding of the NCAA's eligibility requirements than you did before?
Definitely.
Good. Thank you for listening.